welcome back to season 2 of TechRise. We are so excited to be here with another great season of founders representing everything that Chicago has to offer. So for those of you new to TechRise, I am Desiree Vargas Wrigley. I am Executive Director of TechRise by P33. And TechRise is an initiative started in part with Verizon to help support our city's Black and Latino founders all the way from idea stage to exit. And we're thrilled that this year we get to expand to include all BIPOC founders and all women identifying founders. So you'll see many faces, races, genders take the stage this year as they compete each week for a chance to win somewhere between $25,000 and $50,000 from sponsors like our corporate partners across the city, our philanthropic partners, and individual donors like you. So if you want to contribute, you always can. You can go to techrise.co/donate and be a part of everything. All right. And so with that, I'm so excited to welcome our judges on to the TechRise stage. So first we have Ashley Aydin, Senior Associate at Vamos Ventures. Ashley, can you pop on and say hello? Wave hello.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks so much. Ashley started her career at Morgan Stanley in capital markets and moved into strategic roles at shopteeks.com, Saks Fifth Avenue, and Estee Lauder. And focused on the intersection of the consumer and technology. She's previously an investor at Brand Foundry Ventures, Founder Factory, and Dorm Room Fund across commerce, health, and wellness and financial technology. So it's so great to have you here, Ashley. Thanks so much. And next we have Guy Turner, Managing Partner at Hyde Park Venture Partners. Hey, Guy. Guy is a big fan of fast growth and entrepreneurs who know how to make it happen, and he strives to help them as much as possible. He blogs on topics around venture and startup at vcwithme.co, and he co-founded Hyde Park Venture Partners in 2011 after time with the Boston Consulting Group, where he focused on corporate strategy across a variety of industries. So Guy has led investments in numerous software companies and manages the upfront investment, Fixer, K4 Mobility, InvestNext, and several others. He's also a Siebel Scholar, a Kauffman Fellow, and a former mechanical engineer, and one of my investors. So thank you so much for supporting all the different levels and a very generous sponsor of TechRise. So thanks for being here. And then our final judge today is Marah Dudenhoeffer. I hope I said that correctly. Please correct me if I didn't, but she's a principal at Verizon Ventures. And as principal, Marah is responsible for sourcing new innovative solutions for Verizon Ventures, as well as strategic development of the ventures portfolio based on strategic alignment with Verizon. She prioritizes investments based on valuation, stellar team, and ongoing future commercial or technical development relationships with Verizon, as well as other factors. And her current investment focus is enterprise and B2B solutions relevant to the Verizon Business Group. Marah, it's awesome to have you here. And it's so exciting, of course, because Verizon helped us launch everything. And so this is the first time we've actually had someone from Verizon Ventures joining us. So thank you for being here. Okay, and so with that, I think we're ready to bring our first founder onto the stage. So we have Smart Charts with Corrine Vargas. We are not related, in case anyone has a question about that, but good luck, Corrine.
Hey everyone, my name is Corrine Vargas, and I'm a former actuary turned speech language pathologist and also the founder of Smart Charts. I want to start by taking you all back to the early 80s. I was 3 years old when this picture was taken, and it was shortly before my mom suffered a major brain aneurysm and subsequent stroke. Over the next several months, she had to regain the ability to do everything: read, write, walk, and talk. She made great gains, but often focused on what she couldn't do along the way, and ultimately never finished her full course of therapies. I tell you this story because we all undergo life-changing events. For some, it's a child with autism. For others, it's an aunt who suffered a heart attack. For me, not only was it my mom, but it was numerous knee surgeries myself. These difficult diagnoses, diseases, and injuries impact every single one of us at some point in our lives, but they also share a common thread. They require the help of a speech, occupational, or physical therapist to return us to health. As a licensed speech language pathologist, I realized that post-diagnosis, this wasn't the biggest problem. That when patients got to therapy, they couldn't understand their gains, see their hard work, celebrate their progress. And it turns out that we retain less than 20% of what we hear and read, and that most of us have unrealistic expectations when it comes to speed to betterment, which results in less than 1 in 10 of us actually finishing our full course of treatment. We have easy ways to track our steps, calories, credit, and even screen time to help us stay healthy, organized, and off of our phones, but no way of tracking the essential work of getting better. Instead, this is what we have: Now think to yourself, does this motivate you to the finish line? The goal of electronic medical records, or EMRs, is to store medical information, and they became a forced solution for the therapeutic rehab space due to lack of other options. Smart Charts not only creates easy to access data, it's highly engaging and compatible with all the EMRs you see here. Smart Charts was built to empower care teams to achieve better rehabilitative outcomes. Smart Charts is the Fitbit of therapeutic rehab. It creates kiddo-friendly pictures and adult-friendly graphs and is built for the 65% of us that are visual learners. And for therapists like myself, it automates note-taking and streamlines data sharing across settings and organizations. Smart Charts takes basic patient data from the EMRs and translates it into easy to understand information, empowering action and change. We promote patient engagement by providing visuals after every session for every patient, regardless of income level, age, diagnosis, education, and even native language. We boost operational efficiency by cutting documentation time by up to 75%, which equates to a 4x ROI per clinician. The therapeutic market supports all of us, from babies to seniors, and is expected to grow by 24% or more over the next 4 years alone. Our business model is a B2B subscription with payment per clinician per month. At the end of last year, we had tracked over 3,000 sessions and used those 3 years to develop, test, and adapt the application in B2C and small markets. This year, we'll enter B2B markets with large healthcare systems via integrations. And next year and beyond, we anticipate significant growth via scalability and pricing. In 2026, we plan to enter additional industries. Our team has over 35 years of experience spanning technology, data analytics, and clinical application, as well as a group of strategic partners helping us to grow and adapt the product. So as I close, I ask you to think about someone who's been in therapy. They likely felt confused, frustrated, and depressed. I definitely did. That's what the current system fosters today. And as a daughter, a patient, and a clinician, I've personally witnessed or felt all of these emotions. So I ask you to support Smart Charts as we work to break that system and empower all of us to better health outcomes. Thanks.
Great, and now we'll bring the judges on. You can stop sharing your screen and perfect. Guy, you want to kick things off for us?
Yeah, first, I really enjoyed it. Thank you. And also appreciate your personal story tied into it. I think my primary question is, how do you actually get it out there? It's a tough space to get into.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a couple different avenues that we're working on the larger scales. We're already in small clinics and directly to therapists and teachers themselves. However, we're working through partnerships with Redox, which is an intermediary between EMRs and new apps, as well as a number of different connections here in the Chicagoland area and nationwide to start those conversations. And we're in mid-stage with a couple large players here and kind of taking it day by day, stage by stage to increase, just notoriety and opportunity.
Thank you.
Ashley, you want to go next?
Sure. Thank you for building this. Super impactful. My question is more on sort of the product roadmap. So you mentioned a lot of integrations and expanding it to additional industries. Can you talk more specifically about what that timeline looks like?
Absolutely. So it's really exciting because I just brought up Redox, but they're an intermediary that works with all of the major player EMRs. So once you integrate to one EMR, every institution that's using that same EMR is actually able to use Smart Charts. So once we get that pathway solidified and smooth, we can actually access everyone else that is using that same. So those big players, in addition to, there's numerous others beyond that.
Marah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a great solution, and I hope that you take off, right? I think from my perspective, I would like to hear a little bit more about financing, fundraising. Where are you at in that space? And then where do you want to go? And how do you want to use those funds, hopefully, as well?
Absolutely. So the use of funds to grow the team. I am so sleep deprived, but we are been friends and family funded through now and a couple of different grant opportunities. We're in the middle of a raise at this current moment to help us get to that next stage and actually fund these integrations after these LOIs, after we're getting these LOIs in the door. It's kind of a chicken or egg. I'm actually a little nervous on both ends of, is the money going to be there to support once we get these contracts signed?
Very good. And what's your timeline for fundraising?
As soon as possible, but hopefully by the end of the next quarter. And I am, we're just looking to raise with a VC partner that will actually help, coach me along, but also grow our team and create some connections within the space as well. So super excited, and we're looking forward to making connections.
Okay, any more questions? No? All right. Well, wonderful job, Corrine. I am going to welcome our next founder onto the stage. We have Joshua Ross joining us from Staj.
All righty. Thank you, Desiree.
Judges, if you could go video off for a sec, that'd be great. All right, we're ready when you are.
Okay, cool. All right. So think about it. What's the first thing you would do to find local artists or local arts events or hire local artists? Would you get on social media, ask your friends and family, or search on the internet? Finding local artists and events has always been a pain because information is thrown all over the place, including these platforms. Big shows and events are easy to find, but smaller local artists and events are not. Artists like myself are always competing with these larger artists and events. We spend more time promoting events than we do working on our art. It's even harder now since COVID has hurt many smaller artists and event organizers financially. In a world where we consume so much content online, it's impossible to keep people's attention. Artists and event organizers use so many of these platforms for each event they have, just to end up with minimal results. Those same platforms weren't designed for artists though. Even our closest competitors don't meet all of our needs, which leaves us forced to use things that aren't really optimal. Staj solves all of these problems. We're making local artists and arts events more accessible, and we are designing an event management platform just for artists and event organizers. We want people to find events on the south and west side just as easy as they can find events happening downtown. Unlike other platforms, we highlight the artists at all times. Our detailed profiles let you track an artist's upcoming event schedule. Artists can create their own events to promote instead of depending on venues and event organizers. Finally, we let organizers feature artists by showing pictures and videos of their work as the event spotlight. Most artists don't have agents or managers, and most organizers don't have a big operations team. So we want to handle all of their event management needs. We are focusing initially on the biggest pain point by far, artist payments. We make sure artists get paid within minutes of each event, never waiting days or weeks for event payments ever again. We plan to eventually offer a full suite of services including artist booking, selling event merchandise, and ticketing. With at least 4 million professional artists in America and a total addressable market of nearly $90 billion, we are well positioned to dominate. Because there is no modern technology to support how they live, an entire segment of arts workers is losing money. We want to change that by turning these artists into digital entrepreneurs who control their own earnings. Our passion for the arts and our domain expertise makes us the perfect team of Southsiders to solve this problem. Being a professional musician, I have firsthand knowledge of what problems local artists still go through. My co-founder Dan is a highly skilled developer working with multiple Fortune 500 companies, along with being a pretty good piano player. We've made some progress since we first started, but now we are ready to establish our presence right here in Chicago. With your help, we will provide people with the perfect roadmap for supporting the arts in this city. This picture you see is the main reason we are creating Staj, to have artists and organizers viewed as essential working class professionals instead of just being entertainers. Every artist won't be a rich megastar, but they all deserve to make as much money as possible doing what they love. We will eliminate the term starving artists for good by creating an environment that allows all artists to be self-sufficient. So join us as we make Staj the easiest way to connect artists, event organizers, and arts lovers all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Now the judges can join us on camera. Ashley, you want to kick us off?
Absolutely. Josh, great presentation. And again, thank you for building this. Wondering a little bit more about sort of the go-to-market and education aspect of this. You mentioned turning artists into sort of digital entrepreneurs, how do they find out about you?
Yeah, so I have a pretty big artist network, being an artist myself in this city. So we kind of have some buzz already, but we plan to, just meet artists where they are, go to different events, tell them about the features we have, and, let them understand that, this is a platform to help you promote your own events and help you get paid faster by users, whether that's via tips or by event organizers via payouts.
Marah, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think my question was on the slide that you had the addressable market, I think, on there. I wanted to understand, was that of all artists, large and small, or where did that number come from? And then
and actors that regularly have these events on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. So that's the artists that we're really focusing on. And what was your second question?
And was that no? Yeah. So was that? I think the TAM was something like 90 billion or something. So is that TAM inclusive or excluding, like only focused on the smaller artists, not including the larger acts and whatnot?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. So we need to do more research on the TAM from that, because there's not a lot of data out there, because obviously a lot of the data is not really focused on hyper local artists and events, is mainly focused on the bigger ones. So we believe that it's
sure, there's a gap
focused in there. The smaller artists are focused in there as well.
Very good, thank you.
Josh, thanks so much. I'm curious, do you view it primarily as a marketplace, so as a place for consumers to discover artists and artists to discover consumers and facilitate a transaction? Or is it really more of a software solution for artists for things like ticketing and tipping and so forth?
Well, we really view it as both and. So one of the main issues that we think all segments, users, artists, and event organizers are dealing with is visibility, ease of use, and access. So that's one thing we're trying to focus on, providing that solution. And what was your second question? I'm sorry.
Or maybe another way to put it is, are you planning to bring consumers to the artists and that's part of the pitch?
Okay.
Or is the pitch really that you're helping artists monetize their existing consumers?
Yeah, so we're mainly focused on, artists bringing their fan base to us. We feel like they are the perfect go-between between users and organizers. Users want to find artists and organizers want to hire these artists to get butts in seats. So we feel like targeting artists is the perfect solution for, getting their own fans in, and then those fans will discover, the other events that are going on. And then in turn, we feel like organizers they'll have a wider selection of artists that they want to hire for their events.
Thank you.
Josh, can you also talk about how you would use the 25K?
Yeah, so mainly our timeline is we're doing a lot of mock payment testing and some development on our end. So it will be a lot of testing the payment flow of payouts for tips and user payments, and then plan on doing a lot of customer education, some in person, going to events marketing, and then some social media marketing. So we're really trying to blow it out that way.
All right, I've got to cut us off, but great job, Josh. Great to have you on. And judges, I'll ask you to go camera off while we invite closed round on. We have Alifya of Valiji. All right, I think we're ready when you are. You want to unmute. Ooh. Sounds like someone's calling you, but you're good. We're ready when you are.
Sorry about that. That was actually my friend, Alicia. She is, there we go. Sorry about that. That was my friend, Alicia. I am actually her friend in finance. She is a wedding planner, trying to disrupt billions of dollars of wedding planning industry. Doesn't know who to call. She's ready for investment, looking for capital, just doesn't know where to start. And I imagine a lot of the investors on the panel are probably the first call for many of their friends as well. That's the problem that we're trying to solve, is where do builders go when they're ready for inviting outside capital? They talk to their friend, they get shared to angels, maybe accelerators, maybe pitch competitions. I mean, where does it really go? And the question I ask is, how much innovation are we losing out on because the right builder couldn't connect to the right source of capital for them? Even though capital is abundant today, there's more capital ready to be deployed in early stage than ever before. There are more methods to raise capital than there ever have been. And fundraising dynamics are completely evolving. There's so many options, from the rise of, solo GPs. Sorry, something in the chat.
No worries. If your screen maybe isn't progressing, but we can hold for a second if you want to go back into the screen share.
Thank you. There you go. Is that better?
Yep.
Cool. Thanks. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. From the rise of the solo GP to capital-driven community raising, investment DAOs entering the market, there's just more options than ever before. And still, people don't exactly know where to start when they're looking for capital. And you don't have to take our word for it. We've spoken to hundreds of investors and founders. These are some industry leaders who are also feeling the shift. That's why we think there's a huge opportunity to build the trusted capital discovery marketplace, starting with early stage venture. Why early stage venture? It's the most fragmented, has the most invisible barriers for founders. It's also what I know the best. With ClosedRound, Alifya would have been able to create one profile, been recommended and gotten a curated list of investors for her. She would have been able to add me as an affiliate, and I would have been able to see who she's getting matched with and further endorsed her or introduced her to other investors. And investors, when they see her profile, would have been able to make a choice. So the opportunity is pretty large. It's an expanding market. There are more financial institutions, more builders, thanks to the loosening of accreditation laws, more communities supporting these builders, thanks to the Great Resignation, and more tools than ever before looking for this beachhead market. It's a $23 million beachhead market through annual membership for investors and founders, SaaS tool revenue from communities, and referral revenue from tools that we partner with. This is not a what if, but a what's next. We've already set a very strong foundation, built and tested an MVP that users love. We helped Noelle, one of the 300 industry founders and leaders who have given us feedback and support, helped her find her lead investor, and she closed her round in 2 weeks after that. And since then, yes, the tech has been improving and we've been building, but we've also been hosting value-add events and building a strong brand with now 5,000 followers across all of our platforms. And we're already positioned to be a market leader in the space. We've been forming B2B venture community partnerships to activate the product-driven growth that already exist. And the ones you see on the screen, including P33, are just a select few that I wanted to highlight today. And I'm the right person to build this. I've been in the industry for now many, many years. I started my career as an investment banker, so understand the financial landscape and the world of capital allocation for all the options. I was a venture associate at TechRise, so I understand how accelerators, fellowship studios, all of those models work. Platform lead at day one, so my job was to connect the dots. I feel the pain point of the middleman, the super connector. Today, I'm in multiple founder communities, over a dozen, and I'm surrounded by early stage founders every single day. And I've built this community and this product with empathy for all of the players on all the sides, and positive rapport in the industry. And we think we know we'll win because we're ahead of the curve. We see the landscape from a bird's eye perspective. We have the key relationships in place already, building a very strong brand, and the product is effective and it works. We're very strategic with our cash. With the 25 grand, we'd be able to continue building on our product roadmap, everything asked for by founders themselves and investors and venture partners, and grow partnerships through ops. And I'll pause there. Thanks so much.
Great job overcoming the tech challenge. I feel your pain from earlier. I'm going to go back and fix some of the things I didn't say. So don't feel stressed by it. And judges, we'd love to have you come back on, and you can stop sharing your screen, Alifya. All right, Marah, you want to start us off this time?
Yeah, for sure. So I would love to understand your thinking around how is this different than some of the tools that exist in the marketplace today. So I'm familiar with some of the more research-focused tools, right? PitchBook, CB Insights, and others. But I would love to kind of hear your perspective on if those are considered competitive or not, and where you see kind of fitting in with existing tools.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. I do have a quick slide to just showcase. we get compared to Crunchbase, AngelList, PitchBook often. We're not a directory and our data is not empty. So a lot of the times, and we are not completely pricing out every founder and every early stage investor or emerging manager that exists out there. So I think the difference is that we're able to curate these investor lists for founders, no matter early stage venture or revenue share or venture debt, whatever the right fit is, we'll curate that list for them. We don't disregard the third party or the middleman, right? Accelerators, studios, fellowships, platform leads. We actually give them the SaaS tool to supercharge what they're already doing. And so we include them, and all of our data is user generated. So everything is active and nothing is scraped. So that's kind of the big differences.
Guy, you want to go next?
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Sorry, all sorts of weird pop-ups on my screen. I had a similar question. So I guess my follow-up question would be, what is the experience of the founder and how do you get paid for the value you create?
Sure. So for the experience of the founder, they create one profile. It's pretty standardized, but they can include pitch decks, et cetera, other things they would like to. They're able to add affiliations with every community they're a part of. So we just talked about how community, in my opinion, is the new capital, and every founder these days is a part of maybe 3, 4, 5 different communities. I'd consider myself a part of the TechRise community and would be able to add them as an affiliate on my profile. What that does now is allow Desiree and Lucy and Sean to be able to see who I'm getting matched with, who I'm interacting with, and potentially support me further. Without that, they would have had to figure out which of these founders should we be connecting to which investor, and let me go send that email and get put on BCC and never know the impact I'm making. So the way that we make money is the three ways I mentioned, is the membership from investors and founders that goes beyond just a SaaS tool. We are a SaaS tool for these venture communities, the middlemen, and then the referral revenue that we're getting from the tools, Brex, Republic, Party Round, the tools that actually do the transaction that target this specific demographic.
And Ashley.
Thank you. Nice to see you again, and great job. I understand sort of what success looks like on your platform for the founders, but for the investors and other types of partners, is it just sort of introductions made, or funding? What does the ROI look like?
Absolutely. So our KPI is connections made that wouldn't have been made. So as an investor, you could spend, I don't know how many hours, 300 hours looking through all the Y Combinator pitches from the demo day, 364 of them, or you could go on ClosedRound and see the 15 that are the most relevant for you. So how much time did all the associates and analysts across the board just save? And they're curated. It's not a directory, so it's not another scraping mechanism. I think success for investors has been, oh, I didn't know about that founder, and I've been able to expand my network at a rate that doesn't happen when you're actively going out there to happy hours and events to try to expand that network organically.
Excellent job. Thanks so much. And now we're going to invite Flamingo onto the stage, and we'll have Jude, Chiy.
Okay, excellent. Hey, everyone. Let me know once you are able to see my screen.
We are good. I'm going to ask Guy to go video off, and then you can go get started.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Thanks, Guy.
Not a guy, not that we don't want to see your face. So hey, everyone. My name is Jude, and I am the founder and CEO of Flamingo. So Flamingo is an enterprise SaaS product for for multifamily apartment buildings. So what we really do is we empower property managers to offer a much, much better resident experience. The big issue in the apartment industry right now is that if you as a resident move into like a high-rise apartment or some type of mid-rise luxury apartment, you have to download multiple different apps and multiple different systems. So you might use one system for rent payment, another system to open the package lockers, another system to message your neighbors. So it creates this really outdated experience and bothersome experience for both the residents and the property managers. And then on the property manager side, they struggle with so many different issues, from having to use multiple different integrated or unintegrated systems to really manual processes, to low tenant engagement, to really interpersonal communication. So how Flamingo solves this is we offer one platform that allows them to do all those things. So within the apartment industry, there are about 75,000 apartments who fit within our profile. And none of those apartments have a really good front end solution that allows them to solve for these issues. So what Flamingo offers is two things. One is a full-on SaaS platform that allows property managers to really automate the majority of their resident experience and manage everything from the resident onboarding to resident communication to even package management. And the other side to our platform is our marketplace. So we have a marketplace that allows property managers to quickly and instantly book events for their residents. So a lot of property managers do events as a way to build a really strong sense of community. So that could be a yoga class, that could be a happy hour. So our platform allows them to have both sides of the coin. So they have a marketplace to engage residents and quickly book our event providers. And then we have a full-on SaaS platform that allows them to fully automate and manage their resident experience. So we really make it super simple for them to manage the full cycle of that resident experience. We are already partnered with some of the biggest players in the industry. And as of today, we work with over 991 buildings throughout the US, and our clients really love what we offer. And then in terms of our team, we have a really strong team on the operation side. So for me, my experience in real estate has been building Flamingo and working with property managers across the US. And we have a head of marketing who has taken a company from a seed round to a Series A. And then we have a head of marketing that has already led companies that have exited within the apartment industry. So we have a really strong team on the operations side and really strong support on our advisory, including one of our advisors who worked at the top 3 largest property owners in the US. So our clients absolutely love our platform. We have had less than 1% churn, and our net revenue retention has been 137% from last year. And we grew our revenue by 130% last year. And we have already more than doubled what we had of more than a year ago. So the reason why our platform works really well is because we have been really thoughtful with how we have built. So we went from a marketplace that allowed us to really get into the industry, and then we added our SaaS product.
I have to cut you off and bring the judges on for questions. So hopefully you can cover the rest of it in the Q&A. Judges, so you come back on. Guy, you want to start?
Yeah, absolutely, Jude. Thank you, and bravo on building a business that's got great customers, great solution. I think that my primary question is here, just in Chicago. There's, I think, 3 startups over the years who've worked in this space. Mobile Doorman. There's one called Rise. There's another one I forget the name of. How do you differentiate versus them? In general, and also versus in the sales process?
Yeah, so a key part of our strategy. So I know Rise, I know Mobile Doorman. They have all exited. So Mobile Doorman has actually moved on to become a pure payment play. And then Rise has moved more into the commercial space. The reason why that's happened is because the multifamily space is really notorious for its sales cycle. So how we have mitigated that is with our 2-sided marketplace. So property managers already have established budgets to do resident experience and events. So we use our marketplace as the top of the funnel. So it's almost like a Trojan horse for us, where they quickly and easily book events because they already have established budgets for those events. And then that allows us to then upsell them to the SaaS part of our platform, which is where everyone else has really struggled. So we already have multiple wins from that strategy. One of our biggest clients came to us with one of their property managers looking to book an event. And then within 9 months, that turned in.
Not really a question, just a comment.
All right, Ashley, you want to go next? If there's...
Sure. Sorry about that. Had trouble unmuting myself. Great job and awesome traction. Kudos to you. More of a question on sort of how how customer feedback informs the product and what that loop looks like?
Yeah, so we are a customer-led company, and what that means is we constantly focus on getting feedback from our clients. So I actually spent 4 months where every day I woke up at like 7 and then spend the next 8 hours from like 8 to 5 going to every apartment in Chicago. So that's before we actually build anything. So the reason why our customers have really loved the product and it's really resonated is because everything that we have is really based on solving a specific problem that they have. So the comments that we get are like, oh my God, I wish I knew this existed like a year ago.
I'm also having slow mute and stop video,
What?
but sorry, we're at time. Go ahead, Marah. We have 5 seconds. Go ahead, Sarah.
Just with the 25,000, I was going to ask, what's your plans for using the 25,000?
Hire a salesperson, hire another one. Commission-based sales. So for us, we have a great product. What we haven't really done much of is the sales side. So we've had a lot of inbound, but now want to really also do like outbound. They're the top 50 largest property management companies, so we want to go after them.
Okay, now I got to cut us off, but great job, Jude. Thanks so much. Thank you,
Yes.
judges, for the great questions. Sorry for the awkward entry on me. And next we have Science on Call and Luisa Castellanos.
Great, thank you, Desiree. Just a second here. All right, are we good?
We're good to go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Luisa Castellanos, co-founder and COO of Science on Call. When a kitchen fire can shut down a restaurant forever, but when a fire breaks out in a restaurant, the team knows what to do. No one panics, they cut the heat, and they break out the fire extinguisher. Kitchen fires happen, but restaurants are prepared. There's a new fire breaking out in restaurants, the tech stack. It's been building for decades. IT problems are not just an inconvenience, they can cost a restaurant real money, up to $5,000 an hour. Hiring an expensive 9-to-5 IT guy doesn't work. And forget about relying on restaurant staff to figure things out on their own. Their jobs are already hard enough, and restaurant people are not IT people. That's where Science comes in. Science on Call is the tech support platform for restaurants. Restaurant staff can simply scan this QR code to connect with our platform. They can quickly communicate their issues and get back to serving their guests, all for just $199 a month per location. We are a tech-enabled services business that's reinventing the way that restaurant employees manage their IT issues. We do this by utilizing an AI-powered answer engine that allows our agents to solve problems with less searching and faster execution. And by automating common resolutions, Science can solve IT issues in a fraction of the time it could take a restaurant employee to do it themselves. With every interaction, we're collecting valuable data and insights about how all of these technologies really work for restaurants. And based on this data, we've developed valuable add-on products that restaurants actually need, like backup internet and smarter guest Wi-Fi. Not only do these products keep their businesses up and running, they increase customer stickiness and lifetime value. The 950,000 restaurants in the US and Canada spend over $28 billion on technology annually. And by 2024, this number will exceed $58 billion. This is a $2.8 billion opportunity, but we don't need to stop at restaurants. There are over 1 million retail businesses lacking effective IT support, making this a $6 billion. Over the last year, we've over doubled our monthly recurring revenue to nearly $30K. And we currently support 163 unique restaurant locations all across the US. Everything from national brands to growing chains and large hospitality groups. In the last few months, we've stood up new markets in San Francisco, New York, Philly, and DC, all with less than 1% annual churn. We're gaining awareness across the restaurant industry as the tech support provider of choice. Thanks to our partnerships with top distributors and restaurant technology vendors such as Gordon Food Service, Cargill, Toast, and more. These vendors cover over 70% of the restaurants in the US. With these partnerships alone, this guarantees us quick and easy access to rapid growth. The other options for tech support just don't work. Remember this guy? He's not going to answer calls on nights or weekends, let alone pick up the phone for less than $150 an hour. And this restaurant employee, he's already juggling 10 things at once. No time to get on the phone with that IT guy anyways. We're projecting 15% month-over-month growth as a result of our investment in outbound sales and marketing. With this investment, we can continue to build awareness through trade shows and top industry publications, of which we've already seen great success. We're a smart entrepreneurial team with extensive IT and restaurant experience. Our team understands the pain of being behind the counter with this kitchen fire we call restaurant technology. We are determined to help all the businesses we know and love. We're creating a world where restaurants can thrive without the burden of technology problems. Less tech stress, better hospitality. Thank you.
All right, judges, you can come on for some questions. Marah, you want to kick us off? Or
Yeah, sure. So why don't we start with what are you going to do with the 25,000 and maybe roll into what do you need as far as investment to make this happen?
Yeah. So when I was talking about some of the investments that we've made already, some things that we've found have really worked were trade shows and industry publications. So a lot of what we're doing right now is just building awareness. We've had mostly inbound sales up until now, which has proven to be really successful, but we're also building our outbound sales team as well.
Ashley, you want to go next?
Yeah, actually, on that point of the outbound sales team, congratulations on getting larger customers here in larger restaurants. But what about sort of the smaller, scrappier ones? How are you thinking about that sales cycle?
Yeah, so we've actually started to really focus on the larger groups. Our earlier customers were mostly mom and pop, smaller operations, but the cost to support them is actually much higher. So it's much more profitable for us to go after the larger groups. And they actually find us to be a much better fit because they already have an IT person possibly who needs help answering the calls. We're basically replacing their tier 1 support. We actually just signed a deal with a 35 unit operator where like they fired their whole tier 1 staff and hired us instead.
All right, Chiy.
Hi, Luisa. Nice to see you again. Congrats on the continued progress. I'm curious, what are the 2 most common reasons for calls?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a majority of calls are definitely related to internet outages, which is why we developed backup internet product. So it immediately rolls over to their backup. So when their internet goes out, it can cause problems with credit cards. They can't receive online orders. So with 30% or more of their orders being online, that's a huge loss. Phones go down, music turns off, everything falls apart. So a lot of that's related to internet. And then probably our second most is related to point of sale problems. So integrations with the third-party ordering systems, you got Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, all the integrations with Toast, and some things integrate, some things don't, menus get mixed up. So we're basically solving those problems much quicker because we already know about the problems that are going on. Like we actually have a status tracker that our customers subscribe to. So they know if there's an issue with Toast or if there's an issue with Square, we already have it updated on our status page, even before Square or Toast has anything noted about it.
We have time for more questions if anyone has another question, or Luisa, if you wanted to add anything that you felt like you missed.
Yeah, I know we do get a lot of questions about, our service model and how we're actually running this business. And, we're starting to develop more of this knowledge base kind of data flow. So all the resolutions that we're solving, I think we've solved over 10,000 tickets now in the last year and a half that we've been operating. And so we have data on basically every technology, when those issues are happening, how often they're happening, what businesses use which resources, what's the ideal tech stack. So we're actually getting a lot of questions from other technology companies requesting that data, which is another kind of data play for us.
Marah, looked like you had a question, or no?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so is it 24/7, and is this like a call center based population, right? Or is there a lot of technology built into kind of solving some of the issues using AI and whatnot?
Yeah, so we're working on building out macros. So if an issue comes up that we've already solved, our agents automatically have the response prepared because we've dealt with that issue before. So that's where we're starting to automate responses. We are 24/7. We don't get a lot of calls between like 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., but we do have agents coast to coast. restaurant employees they like to hear a human voice. They like to hear someone stateside. That's just the truth of the matter. So that
gotta cut us off. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have let the last question sneak in, but I'm glad we did. Judges, thank you so much for all the great questions. And now you have the very unenviable job of going to choose a winner. So we're going to say goodbye to the judges and goodbye to Luisa. Great job. I completely forgot to celebrate everything that happened from last year. So before I welcome on Stephen and Lauren for our kind of guest speaker component, I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that last year, it was our first year of TechRise. We really only had 7.5 months of data and founders to come on stage, but we brought nearly 120 founders onto the stage. We deployed about $1 million, and those founders went on to raise an additional $10.6 million, which is many, many times more than they had raised collectively before coming on the TechRise stage. And the other really important thing to note is that Chicago last year became the best city in the country, but probably in the world, for early stage funding for Black and Latino founders. So we have 13.1% now of our early stage funding is going to Black and Latino founders, which is significantly higher than any other city. I think the next closest city is only at 8.1%. So that was work done in part by TechRise, but also because of the great work at Get Cities and Cast and Chicago Blend and Long Jump and Fifth Star Funds. So we want to celebrate all of our peers who've been so actively making this possible. And with that, I'm very excited to welcome back our great friend, Stephen from Verizon. Stephen Shaw is going to spend some time talking with Lauren Nelson. So Stephen is Community Engagement Director at Verizon and an all-around champion of TechRise. He's involved in numerous initiatives throughout the city that ensure the equitable growth of our tech ecosystem. And then Lauren Nelson is Principal Architect of Emerging Technologies at Verizon Wireless. She has worked in telecommunications for over 15 years with assorted technology roles, ranging from wireless solutions architect to business development on the fiber densification team. Her team works with innovative stakeholders to develop transformation technologies for growth and stability. And her goal is to help customers evolve and develop tactical emerging technology framework. And why we're excited to have you guys here, because Verizon has so many interesting things happening, but especially around 5G. So excited for you guys to talk all things Verizon, and I'll pop off until the judges come back.
Thanks, Desiree. Appreciate it. It's been great kind of working with you to build out what is TechRise, and looking forward to kicking off what this season, and looking forward to seeing what season 2 will bring. So happy to have one of my colleagues, Lauren Nelson, on with us today. So Desiree read a little bit about Lauren's bio, but let's jump right in. So Lauren, you and I have had the opportunity to work together on a couple of different projects. Hopefully they will turn into larger projects. So let's start off by talking to the audience about what is it that you do. So as a principal solutions architect, I love that title. What does your job entail? Tell the audience what your job entails at Verizon.
Yeah, so what do I really do? So I'm with the emerging technologies team with Verizon. There's about 13 of us nationwide. We work with companies that want to innovate with technology. So there's a lot of buzzwords and information out there. And what we really try to do is come in and just unpack that. Look at the problems that these buzzwords and technology are going to solve. And then developing a tactical framework on deploying the right applications and infrastructure to help you grow and remain stable during the process, because it's a newer technology. There's a lot to learn, and that's something that we want to be able to make simple for you. So the services that my team specializes in, there's a lot of what's called above the network. So we work with what we are connecting to our network, be it 4G or 5G. Such as asset tracking for like end-to-end supply chain logistics where a Bluetooth sensor won't work and you need cellular technology. I also work with utility monitoring, remote monitoring of heavy equipment on manufacturing floors, and of course, 5G deployments.
So TechRise is to integrate solutions using 5G. So we're not actually selling 5G, we're creating a 5G network. But talk about how you work with enterprises at the large level and some of the entrepreneurs that we saw earlier today.
Definitely, and it's a really interesting time because we're moving from selling like a tangible product. So you would have Verizon Business come give you a phone or a tablet, and it would help solve your problem. But it was easy, it was tangible, it was something that you have. what we're doing with 5G, it's not something you would sell. I'm not going to give you 5G and then walk away. It's a full-blown solution. It's got a business goal attached to it, but it's really driven by a business application. So this application that you're using, which is good for larger enterprises and entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs may be developing this application. So with this application that you're using to solve this business problem, there's going to be hard and soft requirements of this application. And that's going to drive how you deploy 5G, because there's a lot of different ways to deploy 5G, like there is any other type of technology. And that's something that we would want to talk through. There's ways to deploy 5G on site so that you have your own personal small cell, your own radio access network, and it's privatized and it's there. It's a more expensive capital expense, but it's something that could eliminate problems that are so severe that having that type of technology on premise will solve that. So it makes sense. There's ways to use public 5G and pull it into buildings, or to use public 5G for use cases, as we've heard with cars, automated vehicles. And then there's another way to use 5G with actually automating vehicles inside a manufacturing plant, if we want to look at forklifts. Or guided vehicles that way. So there are different ways to do it. And how we do that is not, hey, here's 5G, have fun. How we do it is, what's this application that you're creating? What are the requirements? So you're creating this application that wants this machine to turn around very quickly and act on something within less than a second. If it's got to be that quick, then we're going to need like a private 5G type of infrastructure, because there's something called latency, so that the machine that you're talking to can turn around quickly, and you're going to get your data when you need it, and it's going to be actionable, and it's going to be something that is going to either add more efficiency, save money, or even add another way for you to add value in the marketplace with another solution that you may not have thought about before in your domain. So really, if you're looking at the entrepreneur side, what does your customer base need now, and what will they need in the future, and how do you want to develop that framework for wireless infrastructure, on premise, in the cloud, on the edge? That's something that our team will come and help you walk through.
It's interesting. We talked about small businesses. Matter of fact, the last entrepreneur who pitched talked about the fact that Science on Call, one of the things that she needs, that she found that her customers need, is reliable internet access. And so it's interesting. People think about Verizon, and we work with these large Fortune 500 companies. We do, but we also have an entire department, a whole line of business that's dedicated towards working with small and medium businesses, from solopreneurs all the way, I forgot the threshold, but I guess technically a small business is defined as anyone that has, less than 100 employees, maybe it's even up to 500. So Verizon, we can work with people, we can work with folks at all stages. So we are almost, our judges looks like they're almost ready, but talk quickly about a couple of other use cases to kind of get people's juices flowing around how enterprises and small businesses use 5G. What are some of the use case applications?
Definitely. Like when you look at like a walk, crawl, run, we can do, if you look at medical, we can do fixed wireless access. We can give you connectivity to your patients in the field, and that would maybe be the first step of your evolution. And then what about if we put sensors out there? What about if we know what their temperature is? What about if we know if they fell? What about if we find out they're not taking their medication on time? What if we need a quick turnaround on that? Then we add that technology, we layer it on. And then what if we need cloud computing? We want to put portion of their medical records on the edge, or we want to know an alert if they don't take their medicine on time, and we want that sent to a phone. So this is a foundational technology that we can build on enterprise level or just starting out level, and it can actually help you grow to enterprise level as you start to create things. So it's exciting.
It is definitely exciting. Of course, you and I could talk about this all day, but it looks like we are ready for the high point of today, because it looks like we're about to announce a winner. So thanks so much for coming on, Lauren. Don't be a stranger. And to TechRise, of course, you and I will continue to work together. So Desiree, turn it back over to you.
Well, you guys can stay on and celebrate the winner if you want.
Oh,
So
of course. I look forward to this.
So let's
Definitely.
and we're so on time today. I'm so proud of us. Okay, everyone come back on, video on, and you can be unmuted if you like, so you can celebrate and cheer on your fellow entrepreneurs and judges. We'd like to have you back on too. And I believe Marah is announcing the winner. So let's see when they are back on. All right, was Guy coming back? Maybe there he is. All right, do we have all our founders here?
Very good.
We do. All right, we're ready when you are.
Yeah, so after much deliberation, all of you did fantastic and wonderful. We're very glad to have had the time to learn about your projects, companies, and where you're going. We want you all to be successful in your futures. So, but with that being said, we had a bit of deliberation and came to the conclusion that we think Jude and Flamingo is the winner for today's competition. But again, thank you all for your participation.
Jude, do you want to say something real quick?
No, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate that. And we are really excited to be part of TechRise, and then also really excited to get this additional capital to help us scale up. So thank you guys so much. And then thank you for the questions as well too.
Congratulations, Jude. And April Fools, we have another winner. Can't wait. So yes, Marah, let's go ahead and say who the second winner is.
Yeah, so for the second winner is Luisa and Science.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Congratulations,
That's so
everyone.
exciting. That's like the best April Fools I've ever had.
Well, now you'll have an answer to the question and
Yes.
an icebreaker.
Exactly. Oh my God. Thank you so much. That's really great. I'm so excited. This was a fantastic opportunity. Thank you, Desiree, for hosting this and inviting me to participate. I had a blast. It's so good to connect with other founders and hear other people's pitches as well.
Well, you all did amazingly well. And for all the viewers, just so you know, this is not a one and done. So the founders that took the stage today that didn't win, they are welcome to come back and pitch again. And in fact, I think 20% or 30% of our winners last year won on their second time. So this is not the only time that you will see these incredible founders up here. But if you're interested in following up with them, you can find them probably on LinkedIn, Twitter, all the different places. And then of course, please do continue to tune in for TechRise. Thank you as always to Verizon, our wonderful partner. And thank you so much, judges, for giving us your time and expertise. And hopefully you found some good deal flow here eventually. All right, have a great weekend, everyone. And thanks for being here, our season 2 opener.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone. That was great.